Very slightly. Slightly. Quite. Very. Extremely.
Scarcely.
The city had scarcely changed in 20 years.
She was scarcely 18 when she made her debut.
Barely. Hardly.
His voice was barely audible.
There was barely enough room for the two of them.
I hardly know you.
He hardly noticed what she was saying.
Somewhat.
The price is somewhat higher than I expected.
I was somewhat surprised to see him.
Partly.
I'll admit I was partly to blame.
His statement is partly true.
Slightly.
Sean's car is a slightly different color.
She smiled slightly, as if she were hiding something.
A little. A little bit.
I was a little bit worried by what she said.
She was a little frightened.
I'm a bit nervous. Less.
My husband worries about things less than I do.
Least.
It was the answer she least wanted to hear.
Almost.
I almost forgot your birthday.
Nearly.
The bottle's nearly empty.
Enough.
Is your coffee hot enough?
She's not experienced enough for this job.
Rather.
I thought it was a rather good idea.
He looks rather like his father.
Very.
The girl was very beautiful.
So. Really.
She paints very well. She paints really well. She paints so well.
Extremely.
Earthquakes are extremely difficult to predict.
Uncommonly. Incredibly. Enormously. Intensely. Amazingly. Insanely. Terribly.
Awfully.
An uncommonly gifted child.
It was incredibly hard work.
The show was enormously popular.
He disliked Kate intensely.
These shoes were amazingly cheap.
He is insanely jealous.
You're terribly kind.
It's awfully noisy. Can we close the door?
Far.
The damage was far worse than I'd expected.
Much.
Has he changed much?
He is much older than me.
A lot.
Lots.
New York is a lot bigger than Boston.
I love you lots.
More.
Prison conditions have become more brutal.
Exercise more and eat less.
Most.
I was the one she trusted most.
It was a most beautiful morning.
Quite.
It was quite a difficult job.
He's quite attractive, but not what I'd call gorgeous.
Fairly. Pretty.
This is a fairly common problem.
It's pretty hard to explain.
The two situations are quite different.
The colors almost match but not quite.
She doesn't quite know what she'll do after university.
Completely.
I've completely forgotten her name.
Absolutely. Entirely. Totally. Fully. Wholly. Altogether. Thoroughly. Utterly.
The film was absolutely awful.
I entirely agree with you.
He totally ignored us.
She fully supports her daughter's plans.
Help came from a wholly unexpected source.
It was an altogether different situation.
I can thoroughly recommend it.
You look utterly miserable. 2.
This coffee is too hot.